This is the Organic Mechanic, a showcase and a demo of some of the concepts we have. You're talking to the NPC. Hey, Asa, glad to see we were not taken by these folks. The town folks are gathering over at the city hall to discuss a plan to get back things in order. You should head over there and see what's going on. Open up your menu and access the map that I have given you. This map will guide you around the town. Also, I've given you a sword to protect yourself. Press the Y button to access your sword. Remember, use your problem solving skills and the clues presented to you to make progress. I'll head over there right now. Hey, hope you're doing well. Be careful out there, it's chaos. It's going to be a hard and mysterious journey, but wherever you go, you can ask a series of questions. These questions will have choices that will keep that are kept in your codex. Access the codex through your menu. As you progress through the game, your codex will grow. Be safe out there on your travels. Here we see that we had four categories: people, events, places, and items. These are the four categories that all of the codex options throughout the game will be categorized in. As we progress the game, the codex entries and our options will expand. We will have more to ask each of the NPCs. If we ask the correct NPC in the correct location, the correct codex choice, we will get more information, more evidence, more clues. We ask the wrong NPC a wrong question, they won't have any information to give us. Now we're heading over to the city hall to see about the city meeting that our mentor just told us about. As we go
If
into the
you don't
city
have the
hall, we see
uniform,
there's a
you cannot get
blockage.
in.
We're being blocked. Throughout the game, you're gonna find there are different barriers that you can't come across. And you have to put two and two together and use your problem solving skills to determine how do you get past that roadblock. These roadblocks will require a piece of clothing or disguise or so to get past. Here, one of the clues that we have is both of the people standing guard are in pink. So maybe it has something to do with wearing something pink. We went over to our map and now we're going over to the market. Maybe the market has some type of pink clothing or so. We pick up some items from the market: hammer, leather, fungal medicine, ion medicine. Each one of these items are going to be used throughout the game to be given to people or maybe to craft, to gain access to places, to give to somebody. And that's how one way we progress through the game. Here we go in accessing our inventory and we see we didn't really come up with anything. So now we're going back to our maps, and through the maps, it wasn't the market, but now we see tailors. The tailor may have some clothes that we can wear to bypass that barrier. So now we're heading over. We're passing hotels and bars and restaurants, businesses, blacksmiths, utility stations. Ahead of us is the farm. And each one of these places holds different evidences, clues, NPCs, all used to problem solve the problem that the game presents us. The scenario of this game is that a invader came and attacked the city. And now we're doing what we have to do to see what we can do to restore the village. We just went to the tailors, and at the tailors, we just picked up some equipment. The yellow robe, a purple robe, a pink robe. We're heading back over to the city hall. Maybe one of these equipment can help us bypass the barrier. See, our two guards have pink, so maybe if we wear something pink, they will let us in. If you don't have the uniform, you cannot get in. We hear the audio of the guards, and we go to put on a different robe. Now we have a yellow disguise on. If you don't have the uniform, you cannot get in. Put on the pink robe, and let's see. If you don't have the uniform, you cannot get in. By wearing a pink robe. Now we can head to where we find a meeting. Hello, my fellow citizens. Glad to see some of us made it here today. We have gathered here to discuss the misfortune that has came to our village. As we know, an enemy invaded our land and destroyed our way of life. People are missing. We have no food, and our water have been cut off. If anybody has any information, please come and give it to the group. Mr. Michaels is headed over to the government building to check the government codex to see exactly which government officials are still with us. So that speech has just given us a few pieces of evidence along with our more options in our codex. Now we added food options in our codex that we can ask people. If you don't have the uniform, you cannot get in. Our codex expanded to include food and water. And we also got evidence in the speech saying that at the government, there's some type of codex that has the official workers of the government and some of their information. Now we're heading over to see about the food supply. And we went to our map and looked at the farms. So now we're headed over to the farms. When we get to the farms, you'll see somebody's blocking it. And there we have to fight. We take out our sword, and then we can attack and defend. We can attack and defend in the upper right, the upper left, the lower right, or the lower left, depending on what animation you see. He's attacking to the upper right, we block to the upper right. He hit us that time. We blocked and let the combat system begin. I believe here the combat is a little bit too intense. So we try to bypass him and run away. But we are successfully blocking. If we block successfully, he'll knock us down just like that. And if we continue to get hit, we will die and be resurrected at the hospital. It will take away all our items that we gathered. Here we perform the attack. We missed again. The enemy also can block or get hit. There will be different enemies of different skills. Some enemies have special attacks, spinning attacks, jumping attacks. But here it's just a basic enemy with the regular upper left, upper right, lower left, lower right attacks. Just one animation for each. We go to the farmer. We're asking the farmer. Ah, yes, food. Those evil invaders came and took most of the crops and burned the rest. There's also no water coming from the utility station. No more. I don't know what to do. Faraday, the farmer who I help, I wish he was here. He's a very well-known government worker. So we came to this farms, and the farmer wasn't there, but the farmer assistant was there, and we asked the farmer assistant about the food, and that's when they gave us some answer about Faraday being a farmer, and he's a government worker. Now remember from the speech at the city hall, at the government is a book, some information about all the government workers. And so from there, we can put two and two together to determine Faraday is the farmer and he's a government worker. So now we're headed over to the government to see if we can find some information on Faraday, possibly get the village its food supply back. We walk inside and accidentally put the correct code in, but there was nothing in that room. We're heading up to the last door where there's an office. And in the office, there's some evidences and some items that we can use. Factory key. And here we see the library has a key code. We see the key code for the library and the key code for the factory. Here we see all the government workers, and there we see Faraday 43. This is his address. So now we go to our map, see exactly where this Faraday lives, and we're heading over to Faraday's house. See what we can find there. Hopefully we find Faraday. There are several sections with the homes and the condos, and this is one of the sections. We see Faraday's address right there to the right, 4-3. Let's see what we have. It doesn't look like Faraday, but hope your day is going well in all this chaos. Now we're going to ask this person a question about the food. They don't have any information about the food, but let's see if they have information about Faraday. Sadly, Faraday is at the hospital. He fell sick, I think. Someone has poisoned him. So now we got another clue. Faraday is at the hospital. So now we heading over to the hospital. At the hospitals, we can ask questions. We have a doctor, a nurse. They have information about medicines and ailments. Sometimes they can help us out, and then sometimes we have to receive the information from a library book. The library is an important place that it has a lot of books that has information and clues and evidences and how to progress in the game and who needs what and what to get. The hospital patient log. Oh, we see Faraday. He's in room G. Room G Faraday. So now let's head over to room G. Everybody's in just the T position because we couldn't get the and as you see, he says that he's Faraday and he wishes us a good day. We asked Faraday about the crops. He says, "Yes, I heard the crops are no more. We need seeds. Find someone to collect broccoli, melons, apples, and lettuce from the wildlands with these to extract the seeds and get the food in no time. Head over to my house and look into my bedroom, and there's a gift for you, but only if you help out in this time of crisis. My bedroom code is 9714. I'll also tell you the library has much information about all types of topics, including vegetation." Now we got some information from Faraday. One, that the library has important clues about vegetation, what the vegetation does, some attributes about them, and where they're located in the world. This right here is the city level, and we can also travel to the open world level, the wildlands level, and there will be another aspect of the game. And in that wildlands, we have tundra, swamps, forests, plains, mountains, and each of these biomes have their own items and different spatial features, such as warm, dry, cold. And here we have Faraday's house. We're plugging in the key code he just gave us, and he said he has a gift for us. So this must be the gift. We pick up the iron boots. The iron boots allow us to walk through and over thorns and tough grasses. Without the iron boots, the grasses will destroy our health. Without the boots, the thorns will make us bleed out, and we couldn't traverse to that other side to get important items. We head over to the utility station, but now I think we're headed over to the city gates. And the city gates, this is where we leave. See the map? The city gates is where we leave the this town, this village that we're in with the buildings, and we're gonna now access the wildlands. He says, "Hope your day is going well. I'm the explorer. I travel all over the wildlands. You must watch out for all manner of harm." He explains to us. He explains that the wildlands contain animals that can charge us, extreme weather like the cold that could take our health away, toxic gas that could also take our health away, and thorns that can make us bleed. There was also an enemy that came and started to attack us, but we swiftly got away. We also asked him a question in which he didn't have any information on, so we just proceed to the wildlands. Now at the wildlands, we start off at the plains right outside the city. We see there's some guards. One guard is a range guard and he throws pellets at you. We can dodge these And you know, if they hit us, it takes our health away. I don't think he has a lot of health. So once we get close, we can kill him real quick. And there's also sword guy who has a little bit more health. But we could block these attacks and continue with our progression. The wildlands, you need the map just to see where you're going, and we can switch as we do now. And they'll tell us exactly where we need to go. And as you can see at the top, it's an important part of the game, the compass. Compass let us know and guide us in the direction of where we need to be. North, south, east, or west. And our first obstacle is the razor grass. See, it hurts us. It makes us fall down. But we have the iron boots. And once we put on the iron boots, we can traverse over the razor grass without incurring any damage. And that's let us get, I believe, the broccoli. And we didn't show this part, but there's a library book that has all of the, or at least most of the items and the vegetation that you could find throughout the wildlands, and it tells you where to find each of these vegetation at, the vegetation item. It could be near a cold climate, or maybe a dry climate, a hot climate. Some vegetation gonna tell you whether they need a certain type of clay soil or maybe rocky soil to grow. And there you could parse where the vegetation could or should be growing. Does it grow in the plains? Does it grow in a swamp? Does it require lots of water? And the first vegetation we get is the broccoli, and then we get the apple. And near the apple, there's also melons. This open world, we want a few people to work on it and to make it that much more professional and efficient at portraying exactly what we need it to be. So we got the broccoli, the melons, the apples, and then we headed over to get the lettuce. And we got this information from the farmer, Faraday. Once we got these four vegetation, we're gonna be looking at crafting them. When we craft them, we take their seeds out and combine it into farmer seeds. There was also extreme cold. So some of the places around the world, we cannot access them yet. Whether the extreme cold is blocking us, toxic gas, it could be a cave that has extreme darkness that we can't see where to go. But each one of these environments has its equipment that allows us to traverse them. Some of them are, whether it's a dark area, we have a flashlight. If it's an extreme cold area, we pass the tundra. Oh, and also in this open world, there are barriers that we can't cross. And some of the barriers are big boulders. And with the different barriers, we'll have equipment that allows us to break it through. boulders, we can break it by using a jump attack. It would be thick brushes. We'll able to break that by getting a spin attack. And there are also a few others. Now we see we're returning back to the city, and we're headed back over to the farms to give them that farmer seed packet that we have, that we just crafted. And I believe there's gonna be the enemy there who responded, and hopefully we could dispatch of him rather quickly without dying. We block, we miss an attack. Different enemies also have different speeds, different health, and different combat combos. So therefore you get a more variation. Here we're back at the farm with the farmer assistant. We're gonna now give them the farmer seeds, and they should give us some information. I see you brought the seeds. Thanks. You're trying to really help out. And since you're helping out, I'll give you a gift. The code to the farmer's office is 7347. There's a gift in there for you. And there's a cutscene that comes up. And now we're gonna go input the code that the system just gave us for giving her the seeds. 7347. And you see here we get the flute. The flute would allow us to summon a animal mount that allows us to travel faster. And also we come over here to the iron lock. Is the iron lock, we see we have the boric acid. The iron lock was jammed, and we noticed that the boric acid had attributes to melt metals. And so we used the boric acid to melt the lock to open the door. We're heading over to the utilities now, and now he's saying, "Hope you're doing well. I'm Usa, the utility worker. I'm trying to get the water back on, but I need help. Can you go over there to the factory on the second floor and get the machine piece? That'll get the water back on." So now we headed back over to the factories. We go to the map to see where the factories is. Kind of far, so we start to use our flute. There's a nice tool that plays that summons the animal, and he comes in. Now we have an animal mount that allows us to travel much faster than we would if we were traveling by foot. So let's now head over to the factories. We're at the factory. We dismount our mount, and we got the factory key from when we went to the government building. Okay, we head upstairs. He said the second floor, and we see a machine piece, a piece of gear. So we head back over to the utility station to give the machine piece, the machine gear, to the utility worker. And that should give the water back on. And the first part of the game is solved, some of it. We got the seed for the farms, and we turn the water back on once we get the machine piece. There should be another cutscene once we get that. And throughout the game, it's going to present to you a problem that you have to solve. We giving him the machine piece, the machine gear. We're going to drop it in front of him, and that should bring up a cutscene. This is the water being turned back on. And throughout the game, we're gonna be presented a problem, given some evidence and clues, and we're gonna use the evidence and clues that we have, our map, our common sense, the previous clues and evidence, and we're gonna formulate some type of solution. And all based on that solution, we go in the world, collect our necessary items, whether we have to craft them. Once we have those special items, we bring it to in the world to where we think we need to be, whether we bring it to a person or maybe even fix something ourselves. It's going to be problems such as people missing, people poisoned, a robbery, a thief, a theft, trying to figure out and decipher a code. And as we progress during the game, we figure out more solutions and restore more of the village, and that opens up more of the story. And we can finally keep progressing till we finally learn exactly what the enemy plan is, stop the enemy plan, bring him to justice, and restore our world.